Phineas and Ferb. Lights, camera, Perry? It was a big day for Phineas, Ferb, and their pet platypus, Perry. They had decided to enter Perry in a contest. If Perry won, he would get to be in all the ads for Totally Tools. "What do you say, boy?" Phineas asked. "Ready to be a spokes animal?" Perry made his chittering noise. "That's the spirit!" Phineas exclaimed. He emailed a picture of Perry to the Totally Tools headquarters. The phone rang right away. It was good news. Perry won! Phineas cheered. Candace had a big day planned, too. She was attending a retreat to learn how to stop trying to bust her brothers. Mandy, the leader, wanted to help Candace and the other girls. "Welcome to the Stop the Busting retreat," Mandy said. Mandy started with Anne. "This is a picture of your brother turning your mother's flower bed into a swimming pool. What do you do?" she asked. Anne thought about it. "Well, being a non-buster, I'd probably go to the mall," she replied. "Good," Mandy said. It was Candace's turn next. Mandy showed her a picture of Phineas and Ferb in the kitchen making sandwiches. "Okay, so you see your brothers making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich," Mandy started to say. Candace interrupted her. "Well, being a non-buster, I wouldn't bust them for making a sandwich," she said. Then Candace frowned. "But I'd bust them for making a sandwich when we'll be having supper in a half hour. They'll ruin their appetites. They are so busted!" Candace yelled. The other girls stared at Candace. She still had a lot to learn. Phineas, Ferb, and Perry hurried to the Totally Tools headquarters. The man in charge of the ads was excited to meet Perry. "Oh, will you look at him!" the ad man exclaimed. "Oh, and he sits up too. Who says they don't do much? Brilliant!" Then the man said, "But sitting up isn't enough. What do you guys think?" "How about a hat?" Phineas suggested. "Brilliant!" the man said. "Ferb, I know what we're going to do today," Phineas said. "We're going to put a hat on Perry." Perry tried on a cowboy hat. He tried on a pirate hat. He even tried on a hat that was covered with fruit. Then Perry tried on a fedora. The ad man yelled, "Brilliant! Nothing says Totally Tools like a platypus and a fedora!" Phineas and Ferb took pictures of Perry with different tools. He held a huge hammer. Then he stood on a giant wrench. Perry even posed with an enormous chainsaw. And in every photo, he wore the fedora. There was just one problem. Phineas and Ferb didn't know it, but Perry was no ordinary platypus. He was actually a secret agent. His code name was Agent P, and his disguise was a fedora. The Totally Tools ads could blow Agent P's cover. At agency headquarters, Agent P was nowhere to be found. Then Major Monogram got a call. It was Dr. Doofenshmirtz. "Dr. Doofenshmirtz," the major exclaimed, "what kind of an evil scheme are you planning today?" "I've invented a mustache-inator," Dr. Doofenshmirtz replied. "It gives people big, bushy, ridiculous-looking mustaches." When Major Monogram frowned, Dr. Doofenshmirtz noticed that he already had a big, bushy, ridiculous-looking mustache. "But hey, it looks good on you," the evil scientist said. Soon Danville was covered in new ads for Totally Tools. The ads were on trucks and buildings. They were on billboards and benches. They were even on banners and blimps. Agent P and his fedora were everywhere. As soon as he could get away, Agent P ducked out a window. Soon, he arrived at agency headquarters. Major Monogram was waiting for him. Agent P, with these new billboards up all over town, you've become too recognizable to be a secret agent, so we had to send Agent S to Doofenshmirtz's in your place. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to take a break until your 15 minutes of fame are up. Agent P saluted his boss. Then he sadly walked away. Agent P found Phineas and Ferb at the Totally Tools headquarters. I've got to tell you, boys, our president, Tom Totally, thinks you're doing such a brilliant job, he wants you to take the rest of the day off, the ad man told Phineas and Ferb. Sounds great, Phineas said. Oh, there you are, Perry. We can spend the rest of the day with you for a change. Phineas and Ferb took Perry to the park. They ate snow cones. They went water skiing. They also flew a kite. It was the perfect way to spend the afternoon. Meanwhile, Dr. Doofenshmirtz heard a knock at the door. Well now, who could that be? He asked. This better be important, or you are going to get such a mustache. Bam! Before Dr. Doofenshmirtz could open the door, someone kicked it in. It was Agent S. Oh no, it's Sergey the Snail, Dr. Doofenshmirtz exclaimed. This should be easy, Dr. Doofenshmirtz said. Let's see you escape this cage. But Agent S slid right through the bars. Agent S might have been small and slow, but he was a great secret agent. Back at the retreat, Mandy was ready to try something new. She took Candace outside in a giant machine. How is this contraption supposed to help me resist the urge to bust my brothers? Candace asked. When you ignore your busting impulses, you get a reward, Mandy explained. Mandy pushed a button. Candace saw an image of Phineas and Ferb building a rocket. What do you do? Mandy said. I ignore it? Candace asked. Ooh, who's a good girl? You are the good girl. Yes, you are, the machine said. It started patting Candace on the head. Wow, you were right. This is quite a machine, Candace said. Where did you get it anyway? Phineas and Ferb made it for me, Mandy replied. Then she gasped and covered her mouth. What did you say? Candace shouted. Candace jumped out of the machine. She started to bash it with a pipe. Soon the machine was in pieces. Phineas and Ferb, why do you always build these things? Candace yelled. It's impossible to bust you for everything. It's not my job. Candace, Mandy cheered. You had your breakthrough. At last, Dr. Doofenshmirtz figured out a way to trap Agent S. He poured a ring of salt around the snail. Agent S couldn't move. There, that ought to hold you. Yeah, consider yourself assaulted, Dr. Doofenshmirtz said with an evil laugh. And now, to business. Back at the park, Agent P's watch started beeping. It was Major Monogram. Agent P, Doof has found Agent S's weakness. We need you to drop everything and return to duty, Major Monogram said. Agent P adjusted his fedora and narrowed his eyes. He was ready. Agent P rushed to Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. The evil doctor was surprised to see him. Perry the Platypus, you're back, he said. What a guy. Not so famous you can't stop by to trounce an old nemesis, are you, huh? Then Dr. Doofenshmirtz smiled. But it's against the OWCA bylaws, and I quote, No additional agents are allowed to thwart any single evil scientist if said first agent assigned is still able to carry out his duties. Sergey the Snail is technically still on duty, so as long as I have him trapped, you can't touch me. Agent P came up with a plan. He swiped his finger through the salt, making a path for Agent S. The snail slithered over to Dr. Doofenshmirtz's shoe. Agent S threw Dr. Doofenshmirtz on the floor. Then he spun the evil scientist around in a circle. Finally, Agent S flung Dr. Doofenshmirtz at the wall. Ow! That snail is dynamite! Dr. Doofenshmirtz groaned. For Candace, it was time to say goodbye to the other girls at the retreat. Well, ladies, thanks for everything, she said. I feel like... Suddenly, Candace stopped talking. She had just noticed Perry's ads. The boys have created an enormous ad campaign around our pet platypus, she exclaimed. Uh-oh, Mandy said nervously. Candace took a deep breath. I am and will always be an older sister who is positive and mature, she said. That's right, Candace, Mandy replied. And I am absolutely 100% positive that I have to bust my brothers, Candace cried. Meanwhile, Agent S had pinned Dr. Doofenshmirtz to the floor. Just for the record, Perry the Platypus, I was thwarted by Sergey the Snail, not you. You don't get any credit for this, Dr. Doofenshmirtz grumbled. But Agent P didn't care. He grabbed the mustachionator and blasted every single Totally Tools ad. Now no one would recognize him. Then Agent P used the mustachionator to give Dr. Doofenshmirtz a silly mustache. Finally, Agent P wrecked the mustachionator with his Totally Tools wrench. Curse you, Perry the Mustachio Tool spokesperson, Dr. Doofenshmirtz howled. Back at the ad agency, Mr. Totally and his big mustache hated the new ads. I want every one of these ads torn down totally, Mr. Totally yelled. They're mocking me. Giant cranes zoomed through Danville, taking down every Totally Tools sign and billboard. But Candace was running so fast that she didn't even notice them. Oh, they are so busted, she cried gleefully. Mom! 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 Candace yelled when she got home. She found her parents in the attic. Her mom was playing the bagpipes while her dad danced a jig. What is it, Candace? Her mom asked. Look and see for yourself, Candace exclaimed. You won't believe it. Candace dragged her mom downstairs. See? She asked. I'm astonished, Candace's mom exclaimed. Yes, finally, Candace cheered. Candace's mom admired the brand new ad. Nothing says Totally Tools like a snail in a fedora, she said. It makes me want to run right out and buy some tools. Once again, Candace couldn't bust Phineas and Ferb, but she had a funny feeling that she would have another chance soon.